All-XFL team. That's right. Week 5 is complete. The regular season, 20 XFL games have been completed. That means we have 20 more to go before we get the 3-game playoff to decide the XFL's champion. That's on Saturday night, May 13th on ABC. With so many players to pick from, he has got a big list, so let's just get right into it. So the midseason All-XFL team starts. Quarterback, A.J. McCarron. 2 comeback winning victories, down multiple scores. Second in completion percentage among starting quarterbacks, 65.5%. First in passing touchdowns, 11. And third in yardage, 1,086. Honorable mention, Ben DiNucci and Brandon Silvers. DiNucci of the Sea Dragons, Silvers of the Roughnecks. It's a tough one, but definitely both guys. You could see that. But really, the star, the PJ Walker of the XFL this go around is really AJ McCarron. So have no problem with him as the top QB in the league. Abram Smith, running back, DC Defenders. Wow, you just saw the game just last week. 466 yards from scrimmage, league leader in rushing. Well, when you have 200 yards in a game, that helps. 5.1 per carry and 4 touchdowns. When you have a lot of them in one game, that helps. Other honorable mentions, Morgan Ellison, the Seattle Sea Dragons, Brian Hill, St. Louis Battlehawks, Max Borghi of the Houston Roughnecks. Any of these guys. Morgan Ellison's been hurt a little bit this past week. Brian Hill is definitely a guy, and Max Borghi's been hurt a little bit. So that is definitely your top running backs in the XFL. Wide receiver, there's a lot of them. He's got John Trey Kirkland, Houston Roughnecks, second in receiving touchdowns with 4, 1 passing TD. We remember saw that, and 16.9 yards per catch. Against first in catches, 46. Plays over 20 yards, 6, and receiving yards, 400 and 1 touchdown. Hakeem Butler, A.J. McCarron's favorite target, second in receptions with 30, third in yards, 336, and tied for second in touchdowns with 4. Jeff Badette, league's leader in touchdowns with 5, and second overall in receiving touchdowns. Definitely, there's nothing wrong with this list whatsoever. Some honorable mentions. Josh Gordon, he's been kind of disappearing the last 2 games. Austin Prohl was out in the front in the beginning, kind of took a little sidestep. And then Deontay Burnett has kind of been there for the Houston Roughnecks, and Blake Jackson from the Seattle Sea Dragons right there. At tight end, he's got Cody Latimer, Orlando Guardians, third in receptions, 307 yards, third in yards, 336, and tied for third in receiving touchdowns with 3. He had a big game this past week. Honorable mention, of course, Sal Cannella, Arlington Renegades, 22 receptions, 181 yards. Though they've been struggling, the Arlington Renegades on offense, so that means kind of why he might be. We thought maybe we'd get a little bit more from him, but definitely Latimer's been the guy. Offensive line, Sage Doxtator, Houston Roughnecks, Colin Kelly, Seattle Sea Dragons, Mike Horton, Arlington Renegades, Liam Fornaldo, DC Defenders, and Kahil McKenzie, Vegas Vipers. He's got other guys, Mike Maetti, DC Defenders, Liam Ryan from the Defenders, Cole Lavo, Brahmas, Kyle Murphy, Defenders, Garrett McGinn, Renegades, Jack Snyder, Roughnecks, Deron Parker, Roughnecks, and Liam Jimmons, Seattle Sea Dragons. All of these guys will definitely get looks. Offensive linemen are hard to come by. And you notice Mike Mitchell has a bunch of DC Defenders guys on there. And there's the reason why they can be on that list was because they have the best running game in the league. And that helps. Defensive linemen, let's go on the defensive side of things. At the edge rusher, he's got Trent Harris, Houston Roughnecks, first in sacks with 6 in 4 games, 8 tackles for a loss. Edge, he's got Tim Ward, of course, from the Houston Roughnecks as well. No surprise that they have Roughneck players on there. Second in sacks with 7 tackles for a loss, and 10 QB hits. Maximilian Roberts from the Vegas Vipers, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 7 QB hits. Jarrell Owens, 3 sacks, the highest graded run defender in the league, 3 tackles for a loss, 3 QB hits. Davin Bellamy, DC Defenders, he's been all over the place. Third in sacks, 3.5, 4 tackles for a loss, 9 QB hits, and 3 forced fumbles. That's a lot. TJ Barnes, Arlington Renegades, top-graded XFL run defender in the league by Pro Football Focus at a 90.4. Other guys, Vic Beasley, definitely has played well for the Vegas Vipers. Tazar Skipper, Seattle Sea Dragons, John Daka, Houston Roughnecks, Pitta, Tom Pino, Vegas Vipers, Joe Wallace and the DC Defenders, and LaRon Stokes from the Vegas Vipers. On there, for the linebackers, Donald Payne, Arlington Renegades, 38 tackles, a half a sack, and 1 fumble recovery. Emmanuel Ellerby, Houston Roughnecks, 34 tackles, 3 for a loss, 1.5 sacks. And Jordan Williams from the Brahmas, league leader in tackles with 40, 4 for a loss. Other honorable mentions, Willie Harvey, Battlehawks, Jordan Evans, Sea Dragons, Francis Bernard, the Defenders, Reggie Northrup, yeah, my guy, DC Defenders, CJ Avery, the Vipers, Terrence Plummer, Orlando Guardians, Darnell Sankey, Arlington Renegades, that's right, the Darnell Sankey from the CFL, and Mike Rose from the St. Louis Battlehawks. At defensive back, Luke Barku, San Antonio Brahmas cornerback, league's highest rated cornerback by Pro Football Focus at 92.0. Leads the league in pass breaks-ups with 10, 19 tackles, 2 for a loss, a sack, and an interception. Michael Joseph has been a guy for the DC Defenders, 4 picks, 2 returned for a touchdown, both in DC, 6 passes defensed, and 21 tackles. He's looked great. Arjun Harris, cornerback for the Houston Roughnecks, first in interceptions with 5 and 3 pass defense. Ray Anthony Texada, San Antonio Brahmas, top-graded nickel corner, 15 tackles, 4 for a loss, 2 sacks, 1 interception, and a forced fumble. Deontay Anderson for the Vegas Vipers, 3 pass defense, 3 QB hits, 30 combined tackles, 18 solo, 2 for a loss, 1 forced fumble. Sean Davis, Houston Roughnecks, 3 INTs, 6 pass defense, and 1 fumble recovery. Other guys, honorable mention, safety Nate Meters, St. Louis Battlehawks. Cornerback Josh Hawkins, Arlington Renegades, he's out for the year. Cornerback DeJuan Neal, DC Defenders. Athulia Kelly for the DC Defenders. Adam Sparks for the Vegas Vipers. Ben DeLuca for the Battlehawks. Cam Kelly for the Brahmas. Will Hill, Arlington Renegades. And Tenny Duisi from the San Antonio Brahmas. Okay, come on. Get all these names wrong. Excellent players there. Special teams, John Parker Romo, San Antonio Brahmas, 7 of 8 for field goals, including that 57 Lumen Field record in Seattle and 5 field goals over 40 yards. Honorable mention, Matt McCrane, DC Defenders, of course, punting. Daniel Whelan, DC Defenders, 43.4 yards punting average, tied for the league lead with 8 punts inside the 20. Other guys, Race Porter, Houston Roughnecks, Marquette King, Arlington Renegades. Plus, he had that punt. You saw that punt last game where he actually recovered the punt. And Brad Wings, San Antonio Brahmas. Kick returner Darius Shepard, St. Louis Battlehawks, 29.9 kick return average. And a head coach, he's got the guy who's 5-0, the college football guy, HBCU guy, in Reggie Barlow. So what do you think, XFL Nation? Do you agree with Mike Mitchell's midseason All-XFL team? Let us know in the comments.